You are about to enter a dimension not only of sight, sound, taste, or even mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. There's a signpost up ahead. Next stop, Jake Steve's.
Howdy ho, Mr. Steve, the long-haired freaky dude. Today I'm going to review a Greek tragedy play translated into English verse by G.M. Cookson. Not so crude. The third and final in a set, tetralogy. It's recommended, I say, to read the former two to set the mood. While not necessary, go read Agamemnon and Libation Bearer's play. You will be much advised to do so. For in this review there will be major spoilers of many things you wish yet not to know. Of these latter plays, fear not, my fritters, for of this play the review spoils not. Pleasures as you read, I leave to you a lot. Okay, so, all in all, this was a fairly great verse translation of the play. But, as usual, I prefer a good old prose translation. And because of its versy poeticness, this translation may be hard to understand. So I strongly suggest to read this while you are awake with your fullest attention. This is not something you read before going to sleep or while in a noisy room. The best conditions are in a quiet room with a cup of coffee. And a dictionary, because there are a lot of crazy words. But if you can get past all of this, there is actually a decent Greek tale to be told. The tragedy starts off with a rather random prophetess who foretells of the events happening within the Oracle of Delphi, on Mount Parnassus, next to the coast of the Gulf of Corinth, and home to the Pythians. She also predicts the future of Orestes and the horrors to come. Apollo and Orestes are then revealed where judgment is made on his crime of matricide and, for he killed his mother Clytemnestra, who killed his father Agamemnon, for killing his sister Iphigenia as sacrifice. Orestes is acquitted for his crime because it was both in good reason and at the command of Apollo. Unfortunately for him, there is a group of female deities called the Furies, or Eumenides, or Eumenides, that pursue matricidal and patricidal people. Later in the play, there is a very fascinating court scene which the mechanics of are oddly similar to those of a modern-day court. A defense and a plaintiff, a lawyer for the plaintiff who runs through a string of questions to draw certain information from a witness, all while occurring in front of a 12-man jury who makes the ultimate decision. I guess there are just some things that never change, or at least they do very little. This probably has the most complex dialogue of any of Aeschylus' plays, a well-thought-out speech and a series of questions and answers which would inevitably lead to the conclusion of the jury. Very fascinating. Another thing that I found interesting about this play, which set it apart from others, was that the chorus acted as an antagonist. They were the Eumenides. In all of other Aeschylus' tragedies, the chorus has been protagonists. With that said, they feel more natural in the story in that they have a stronger role as a character, as well as a stronger role in the action. Before I conclude my review of the beautiful conclusion to the story of Orestes, I would like to share a bit of history with you. As legend has it, on the premiere day of this tragedy at the theater of Dionysus, the scene between the Erinyes and the ghost of Clytemnestra was so scary that a woman in the audience had a miscarriage and died. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but people must have had much weaker nerves back then if that's the case. So, we are nearing the end of this review. If Eumenides by Aeschylus, translated into English verse by G.M. Cookson. But first, I'd like to share a few quotes from the text, which I liked, as well as giving a reading of the first few lines of this play. So, to blight his heart and blast his head. Interesting. And, of course, the court scene, that whole thing is quotable. And then there was one by Athena, which is somewhere in here. Oh, well. Something interesting about mercy and such, but I forgot it. That's a shame. I forgot it. Oh well, I'll read you the first lines of Eumenides by Aeschylus, translated into English verse by G.M. Cookson. Prophetess, before all gods my punctual prayer prefers Gaia, first prophetess, Themis next her, who did succeed her mother in this seat, oracular as some have told us, third in order by her free, unforced consent, sat here another Titaness, Chthon's child, Phoebe, and she gave it a birthday gift. To Phoebus, who took on him Phoebe's name, from his still mere, his craggy Delian isle, on Pallas' shore, the port of ships, debarked, hither he came to this Parnassian grot. With fair conduct and worship and great laud from Hephaestus' son that hewed his path, and made the unreclaimed and savage region tame. Rich honors had he here from the simple folk, and from Delphus, their prince and governor, and Zeus possessed him of his mystery, and planted him forth seer upon the throne. Prophet of Zeus is Loxias, son of Sire. There are the gods of prefatory prayer. But Pronan Pallas hath prime mention too, their lauds the nymphs of the Corsian rock. Hollow birds love, repair the deities, the wild as Bromius' chase, never forgotten, since his divinity captained the Bacchanals, and toiled King Panthneus like a mountaineer. On Platius' fountain and Poseidon's force I call, and highest Zeus, all perfecter, ere I go in and take my prophet throne, and now go hap and herefore excelling, wait on my going in, and every Greek, by lauded admitted, in old custom law, I deal mine answers as the God guides me. Okay. So, that is how G.M. Cookson translates it. How he writes. Perhaps you like it, perhaps you don't. Perhaps you want to read a prose translation, which I highly suggest. I haven't read a prose translation of this, so I can't really vouch for any specific ones. But, anyhow, thank you for watching a Bibliophile Productions and an LZ Productions, and be sure to have a most awesome, super splendid, extra bodacious day, okay? To do so. Bloody freaking hell!